So hello everybody, how y'all doing? So it's been a minute since it's been over a year since I did one of these, almost two, since I did one of these type of readings. And I really never, I don't know if I ever did one. Yeah, I might have did one on this platform. I took it down. So I wanted to go into what I'm coming up here about is I want to do a reading and try to snip into some of this energy. The North Node got plans to go direct one day soon on September the 12th. Now the moon going to be sextiling Saturn and Mars. It's going to be in conjunction with Venus. So I find all these energies interesting, if you're following me and everything. I did a video of what I thought about 2022, so this is one of these things. Now before I get into the video, I feel compelled to elaborate a little bit more on some things that I say when I be doing a reading, some words, vocabulary, verbiage that I use frequently. So, this is one of these things that I do understand is either going to make the viewer not want to come to me, or make the viewer second guess, or it's going to make the viewer like. I know it's going to put the viewer into a perplexed decision when I say these words. And the verbiage that I use is sometimes I don't know, I'm not sure, and all of those words. So, if you go to the majority of my pages, especially on my Instagram, I really don't have it. I think I do have it. Maybe I have it in my About page on YouTube. I had to double check. That's because it's a love and hate relationship with us. Because that's where I started at before I ever beginning on Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook. I did open up a Facebook account, but I started publishing videos on YouTube first. So what I want to talk about is the fact of, I have a reason why I publish philosophy. Public administration also has its own reason too. And it's not the fact that I didn't earn those degrees. I did earn my degrees with a nice little challenge, learning experience, part of my spiritual course. So I don't want to make this this rant too long before getting into the video. So it's a thing about that I study about all-knowing. It's many words in the theologian of philosophy that encompass the word all-knowing. And then there's something called certainty. So the main architecture design, no matter what name it is or what jargon we give the category based on a religion, spirituality, a deity, or anything else, I feel like from them taking a human form or in itself being in its natural state, it is always all-knowing. The certainty comes in through the human experience through free will. Even though we suffer in a living experience, doesn't mean necessarily we're not suffering in an unknown experience. That's why we invented certain words. But in free will of the manifestation of things coming from the primary design of your architectural human being experience, you have free will. In those decisions and different things that we encounter, that's where certainty come in. It's not that all-knowing is not present, but certainty is something that's present as all-knowing. But they work together hand in hand, just like good and bad, right and wrong, love and hate. All of those things work hand in hand. So in my philosophy, which when we unlock and I'm into this present mode, I am describing, like I said, I'm a guider. I'm not coming up here to try to be nothing but me. That is part of my self-discovery and coming into doing it on, like, it's one thing of doing it without tarot cards, growing up with different experiences, even though life was rough. It's another thing coming into a society where it's now back at its highest peak and you have a way of doing it. So philosophy is a broad thing. It's many people, and yet it's not many people. There's many writers, and there's many people who debate. So what I'm trying to say is, I put information out there because those are things that help me out sleep better at night, because I believe in common sense. No matter which way the earth is changing within our perspective and how it affects us as human beings through our perspective and interpretation. So, for example, and I talked about Buddha. Let's talk about Hindu. I'm a Hindu fan too. I love Ganesha's story more than anything. I think the story of Ganesha is a very good point of all-knowing, because Ganesha was created by Parada. Okay, hand clay, supposed to be the myth of the story. Parada didn't trust the gods of Shiva. Okay, the guards that was left at their home. So Shiva returns and still fights Ganesha. Shiva and Parada is both known as goddesses. So we're talking about all-knowing. Why was that story ever created? We could go to even the story of Jesus, who prophesied, and even down to the point when he was going through his persecution at that period of time. He even told many people, it's not you that take my life, it's God. Now, he didn't go to the cross and he said, why have you forsaken me? So the all-knowing of his life being taken was present. The certainty of it came about eventually. But it shows that the struggle of the certainty is there. If we are all energetic beings and we embody this as a human, if the human experiences is what teach us and we grasp to and worship what we don't see, I'm saying, where's your certainty at? Your certainty is what you're waiting for in every decision that you make. Your all-knowing is your guidance. So when it comes to you viewing me, I'm saying this because I do appreciate respect. And so maybe this will open up the door a lot more with respect. Where we trying to understand all-knowing, being a tarot reader, being a psychic, being any of these things in this current time. It's many different styles of us, just like it's different artists, it's different people, and we all have many things in common, no matter what might be different. If it's just our big toe bigger than the other one, we still can be in common by skin color, or at least definitely by our body parts. That's what gives us a categorization, a grouping, a community, a group, and an experience, just like stars make up the zodiac. So, I feel so good saying that. I hope the right people come around that needed to hear that, to understand that. I also noticed that this trend is going around from people who for years been on these social media platforms, never used to talk like me, and now all of a sudden they start to use the same words, and they not losing too many people following them. So I feel like I deserve the same respect if you still follow those that begin to do it now. So, it's been a minute. Like I said, I want to come up here. I want to do a past life reading, right? We 10 minutes in. I hope everybody enjoyed that speech. I doubt if I timestamp it. But what I have said is, I do feel better. I lock it out before I get into this because it based by read is more smoother, more better. So I have certain oracle decks out that I want to use to help me self-discover some of this energy. You know, of course, at this present time, all the outer planets is still currently in retrograde, so I'm really appreciating that. I really do think the year 22 is going to come in with a nice little preparation. We're not already ready for it. But it don't matter, no here, no there. I'm not saying it as a bad thing. I'm saying it as a reason of learning how to go with the flow but provide resistance within the flow that you're going with because you're self-discovering things. So that's the reason why I said that. So right now I'm going to start off with one set and see how the time is. And then I want to try to pull up 2 scenarios. But I don't know if 2 scenarios will be permitted in the longevity of the video that I can produce and upload on these platforms. So we're going to start off with me first. Really pull out of, this is some Adorned Virtue decks. I have Your Life Purpose and Past Life. I have Nostradamus deck, Oracle deck, which plays a role in the New Age, Atlantis, and a lot of many things that have been going on for the past 21 years. Also, I have my Seasonal Witches deck, what is called the Shaman Oracle, also right now faced up. I might use some tarot cards if time permit, which I'm hoping it will. That's why I'm starting with one scenario at a time. So what I want to do is get the first 3 main cards pulled out before really going too deep, but I'm going to be feeling the energy, so I might talk here and there throughout it. So, can I have one card for the stage of this past life energy that may or may not be resonating with the retrograde, but still is present in the atmosphere for a collective reading of energy for a weekly vibration setup platform for me. Maybe we have one oracle card for the collective entertainment. So with this oracle card, there's a connection between then and the now that brings about a purpose in this whole mystery of energy that's being recycled. Maybe we have one card that identifies the connection with Egypt. Now, Nostradamus has been a very intriguing process in the growth of the spirituality resurrection. He played a role very philosophically within the ancient alien theology for years to come in many seasons that affected the atmosphere. As we have Egypt and nutrients down here, can we have a Nostradamus card to go with this energy also, please? to see the evolutionary process. Identify the evolutionary process within this energy. Can we have one card, please? We're getting two. Well, we got two, everybody. All right. So, we have the book and we have the cat. I want to make sure I got those right with Nostradamus. Make sure my memory is very much unlocking. This is me with certainty. Just to make sure. So yes, everybody. Number 11. The book. Number 1. The cat. So y'all got a glimpse, maybe, I don't know how long, or you could pause it and read whatever the words say. This is me now. I'm going to go ahead into my own intuitive. I just wanted the certainty where I needed it at. I did begin my message off a certain way, so it is what it is. I like this Egypt and I like this nutrients. What I mean by that is it takes me all the way. I want to say, was it Joseph that got caught up by the Pharaoh during that time frame where he prophesies the 7 years of good harvest and the 7 years of bad harvest? This is just one example. It also reminds me of when I look at movies like Cleopatra and stuff, where really food is not the way food is presented now, like for Thanksgiving or just your regular day. You eating 3-course meal with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, and it also reminds me in our current time, the organic change and the veganism and all those things that have transpired, right? And that's what I mean with probably the cat coming up. The book is basically, I believe, the organic aspect of it, right? Now, somewhere up in this energy, we did become to make a very historical rise about the continent of Africa did really come. Maybe whether it was through Ebola, whether it was through Boko Haram, like a lot of those things. And the cat in the book would definitely play a role with the Boko Haram for sure. Ebola would definitely play a role with the book because it might relate to a situation when it comes to malaria, when a lot of the wars was going on and the coconut war and stuff like that. So, yeah. So we also had a lot of trade routes and spiritual trade routes. Pathway of Jesus walking. We have a lot of Hindu culture that's at the borderline of there. We had an Islamic culture, Prophet Muhammad. And a lot of times, if we go real far back, the vanity of really distinguishing man from woman was very hard. A lot of women really weren't born with a lot of big breasts. And you know, we think about it right now in our current time in the evolution. Is this why plastic surgery is important when it comes to this? It's not like it's not a nutrient. And what I mean by that is nutrition is because it is fertilizing the ego. It is bringing in the battle of the sexes. It's identifying some freedom. So we even have the 400 years of slavery. We have Moses that brought the people out of prison. So in this liberation in our current time, is this why the booming of the health and beauty has really been important? Because this is the evolution. So of course it's going to hit a downside because it's been going up too much. Meaning from the less boobs, the less butt, we done grew into it. From the small penis, private part, to muscles being in the body, because muscles on the men, the way they love to work out, that's their primary thing. And a lot of men have a phobia now for women who do work out and gain those muscles, right? Because now it's probably going back to that time of when during this time everybody had more elegance, more sufficient enough. They had the same amount of respect they had for nature. Because even if we consider the movie Avatar, it was still around that time in a lot of those cultures where they prayed before they killed the food, whether it was fishing or anything, which we incorporate still to this day. So you wouldn't see the change in the fact of that prayer as much as you would see it how we came about with the veganism and when it comes to not being able to distinguish the elegant side of the woman and the man without the tone, maybe the touch, maybe the appearance, but the things that resonated, or whether they had to had a conversation and be like, well, I got this body part, calm down, it's like this, because maybe they communicated and told each other, these was what I had. So even in the LGBTQ and on community, right? This might be why the vocabulary is broke down, because when people want to press forward, when you stuck in this historical energy, the historical energy going to feel wrong. It's going to make you feel like I've been here before. I'm tired of explaining myself. And really, naturally, you get that from your growth, your transitioning path, which is parallel, but is also the hitting energy that you functioning off, because this energy is also transitioning. But we could call this energy, because if we read it, we call this an evolution. And sometimes we know that the evolution is there, but how we is riding the flow of it and providing the resistance sometimes don't necessarily come clear. And this could be one of these point of times, especially once again, we have the cat in the book. Nostradamus energy has been very important. So the destruction of Nostradamus knowledge, meaning the community in the world, when we look at social media, remove toxicity. Now we could really be focused on the toxicity, right? But we could be focusing on in the now. So we focus it on the now, it blinds us from the history that we have. It's not the fact that it's not in our subconscious. It's just our subconscious plays out with the way that we play with the book and the way we existed. So it could bring situations and attract certain people. It builds up people to become motivational speakers. It's not like it's not developing evolutionary processes from this energy, because it is. It's actually developing evolution. You could find many advocates now. It won't the fact advocates never existed. It's just more or less the ones that did existed, they could retire with ease. To know that there is a whole community now that will carry on this legacy. They can know that, okay, well, we're going to leave, so it's going to be parts of history that's going to fall apart now. Things are going to slow down. But we lived a life where we saw this one aspect come once again abundant. We witnessed a life when it was quiet, because it had to get quiet even though they remain in those positions, in order for it to be significant now. Now, what made it be quiet? The catnip, social media. What made it come open is social media. It made it easier to see what's going on around the world compared to keeping your focus isolated inside of your city, state, country. You didn't have to no longer, you still had to get research, but it became easier in order to explore the history and the growth of things, right? So, I do want to pull out some tarot cards. Let's see what's significant about this energy. And I just might have enough time to get to another one. What do we need to know about the change or the not to change when it comes to either nutrition, the cat, and the book? And you know the crazy part of it? This was everybody whole numbers. 11, but instead it came out triple ones. But 11 came out. So it was all about still fulfilling y'all imagination with that one going, because you either could take it there or you could say, okay, I'm going to leave it alone. But still, angel numbers is still present. So we leave 11 alone, we still got angel number triple ones. So, you know, I think that's a great point that I'm trying to make right now. Can we have 3 cards to get a confirmation about a change or not a change, but the relatability of what this might be playing a role in as these planets be coming out of retrograde soon? How will this energy actually be entertained for it to come up today? What is this part of this hitting, unlocking that I can share right now? This 6 of Cups is talking. Can we have 2 more cards, please? 2 more cards to go with this 6 of Cups. Okay, I'm back. Appreciate this. Can we resume with having 2 more cards to go with the 6 of Cups for the clarification message, for the relatability, for the preparation? This card is too cute. This card is too cute. Can I get clarification of the 3 of Wands? Can I get 1 card clarification? Okay. Y'all too cute. You're too cute. So we had a 6 of Cups. So basically somewhere somewhere up in this message, it's like, with this 3 of Wands and this 7 of Pentacles and this Ace of Wands that's here, I believe that energy is about to challenge us on how much do your roots really count. And I mean it in a wicked way, especially with the 3 of Wands and the 7 of Pentacles coming up here. And this 7 of Pentacles actually have the chakras that's up here at the same time. I think this is what you call the new rat race. It's going to change more into a rat race. I feel like it's your roots. You know, if somebody was to come and ask me right now, and this would offend people definitely in my culture, my culture of ethnic group would definitely get offended. So I'm prepared for it. Other cultures just might jump on their paddy wagon. I don't know. But this is what I'm going to say when it comes to actually trying to get this message out. And put myself in a predicament of me being answered, what do my roots mean to me? Technically, honestly, my roots mean something but nothing. For example, I wanted to chase my roots because I wanted to understand what was my mental changing into. Why was certain things changing in my life? Why was I feeling the way I was feeling? What was going on with inside of the world, right? So I got plenty of information, but out of all the information, I'm still left with a void. Because it doesn't technically, after the information came about, really at the end of it, it really doesn't matter, because it matters and it don't matter. It matters in the way that I cope and I live my everyday life. It's given me an opportunity to understand, build tolerance, learn how far to go in certain situations. I don't know if all of it is creating boundaries, but it's creating lessons, it's creating wisdom within my search that I had. Okay? That's about the significance that it really has. When it comes to the now, it gives me ability to cope with the now. I don't see it making my struggles easier, or do I see them making them harder after I go through them? I don't see neither one of them being easier or harder. I could consider them to be new, even if the fact of it being new is because even though I have a knowing of it, the certainty came maybe a little bit different than the knowing. Meaning I might not have had a visual knowing. I might have had a feeling like anxiety type knowing. So when it unfolds itself, that anxiety part begins to balance itself out. And once I feel that it begins to balance itself out, I begin to look at what has been going on that's calming this down. And sometimes at that point in time, the visual is historical, but I must remain in the present. I hope that makes sense. So is this thing of what I'm trying to say is, some people go very deep. And I'm not going to say it's not meant for you to go deep. I think in this whole situation, consequences need to be considered and thought about very soon and shortly. When you're trying to chase your ancestry, when you're getting your, whether you're going to Ancestry.com, whether you live on a village, an island, a country, a state, a land, a boat, or whatever it might be that's ancestry based or historical based, or you got a profession that you're involved in, from the indirectly way of a historical, because everything you do in your life somehow or another has a historical point to get to the main purpose of your life and your lifeline. Whether it's short or whether it's long. I think all of them is probably short because life is very infinity. So that's just my point of view. Now, how you look at it might be a different way. Might look at it from a number base. So what I'm trying to say is, this energy seems to want to get tighter. And the Ace of Wands is coming up here, and all this stuff already manifested. Now it's getting tighter. What is it getting tighter for? Let's see if we could pull out a couple cards and see what happened. What is it getting tighter for? Can we get at least 2 cards to try to understand this tightness? So we have one more card to go with this 6. So this 6 of Wands is scary. Because this 6 of Wands is saying, that our reality is too distorted. Our reality is too unorganized. Everything is distorted now. And it almost feels like it's happening to clear up distortion. But the thing is, from my philosophical point of view and my experiences, I understand what I'm saying, but it's just one of those things that I think distortion, well, no, maybe, okay, you're right, because everybody fell in line with social media. Everybody fell in line with No Child Left Behind. People roll with their kids. We do accommodate shit. Okay, I got you. Can I have this last card to go with this 6 of Wands then, please? Can I have the last card to go with this 6 of Wands? The 2 of Swords. And we have the 7 of Cups. So 7 of Cups is basically what I feel with this 6 of Wands and 2 of Swords. Like, we too distorted. Like I was sitting there talking to them, they came up with the 2 of Swords. Like, too distorted on what? For whoever the viewer is that's asking. You got the 7 of Cups as to shadow the dynamic. So, and we have the Page of Pentacles. So, it's almost like pick your poison. It's something that probably is passionate, that you know about, that should have some changes, and that might be one of your point of views of it. But, you know, it's one of those things. I'm going to go ahead and pull that this Oracle card out, this Shaman Oracle card. Do I want to after doing this? I really don't. I was supposed to use it before I did this part, but I didn't do it. So, yeah. This was really kind of deep for me, and it's really giving me something to think about. When it comes to it. Now I could pull this out. Like, final card, and the ultimate clarification for the 6 of Wands and the 2 of Swords. I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and get this Oracle card out right here. We have the 6 of Wands and the 2 of Swords. Can you give me a final Oracle card message here? A closing out Oracle card that leaves me in rebirth. I figured that shit. I already said the energy, what I say during my 2020 video, I say this is all about I say recycle, because I don't know about rebirth, but I guess maybe it can be a rebirth because we always rebirthing the energy. There is death in all that awakens, For it isn't blissful nor painless. It's a mighty rising, O flame resurrected. Resurrected. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull the book out. I just want the book to talk a little bit where their head and mind space is. Let me see if I can find this number. Okay, that's not it. Hold on, guys. Let me give me a second. Let me find this. Let me see. Rebirth represents an awakening after a difficult period. We all must face our storms, but know the storm will pass. Eventually, you will find clear skies and feel warm sun on your face again. Rebirth is the process of unfolding yourself after a storm. It's when your spirit has a chance to take a deep breath and stretch. It is about rediscovery. All that troubles you has burned away, and now you can face a new life that is waiting to bless you with new adventures and lessons. Reverse. I don't want to read this part, but I'm going to read the reverse part. I just feel like that's all I needed to say. In reverse, this card in reverse. When rebirth is in reverse, it is a reminder that transformation is neither painless nor easy. One must die before resurrection can occur. One must leave behind their former self as a sacrifice for something better, more divine. This card reminds you that you have to be willing to change who you are if your goal is to prove the life you have. Challenges are part of growth that cannot be avoided. It is necessary. It is a necessary transition that serves not only your highest good, but all of the collective. So, this overall message right here, I feel like I have really been divinely on point. The Two of Swords is the Six of Cups and the Two of Swords is what it is. Of course, it's going to be personal in order to make it. It's like one of those sayings. If you can get the majority of the people, and of course, in the United States we have minorities and we have a majority. You get the majority of the people to follow behind something, it's going to be there stuck. For example, religion been stuck for a long time. No matter which way you try, and it had more wars than anything to destroy it. But it always rebirthed enough people to keep any religion standing strong. Whether it's out in the opening or whether it's not. So that's a great example right there. So, I feel like I have a great confirmation that's going on. So this energy that has been going on for a long time is getting recycled. I have to go back so many years. So if this is going to definitely keep people into different jobs that will be created. It probably would limit other jobs and change up things. But we just got to see how it all works out. I hope y'all enjoyed this.